Hey, film friends. I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film, a podcast and show where we break down movies, sometimes with friends, sometimes solo, and sometimes with your bestest
Oh,
friends.
that's so nice.
Ah, that
It's
seemed
so
like it would play
pleasant.
so much better when I wrote it down.
That was good.
Guys, yeah, this is good. I told myself long ago, film friends, that if ever there was a new Jean-Luc Godard film or
Sure. Yep.
Abbas
Tell me about it.
Kiarostami film that I was gonna go to the bullpen and get, the best, the the Wunderkind,
Sure.
our polymathic,
Yeah,
uh, high cinema auteur
that's
guy,
me.
and Godard has not been doing much lately. so,
He's so good.
um, so here we are. We have an Iranian film. It's not Kiarostami, but I did need to bring on my very best friend in the universe, Mr. Scott Sipling. Scott, thanks for coming, man. Thanks for being
Dude,
here.
I'm so excited to be here. I love this movie and I love talking about Iranian films to the point where it's almost become a bit like a running joke with
Yeah,
my friends and family because it does sound like quite possibly the most pretentious thing you can talk about. But I
right.
think the beauty of these Iranian films is their humanity and how I just think they're so entertaining too. So I'm really excited to talk about this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, without further ado, this is Jafar Panahi's It Was Just an Accident. Okay, so here we are. We're here.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to tease out for sure in a second what you said about the humanity in this picture. But just, kind of opening salvo, what are your thoughts? What was your viewing experience like? Did you see this one at home and kind of what struck you? Like just first thoughts, initial
Yeah.
impressions.
Yeah. Sadly, I did watch this one at home. I wish I would have been able to make it out to a theater to see it. I mean, it is beautiful to look at too. So I'm sure on a big screen it would have been even better. Um, man, just there's something about Iranian films, and I don't want to paint with too broad a brush because certainly Jafar Panahi is an incredible filmmaker on his own, on his like in his own right.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge Kiarostami fan, and Panahi got his start with Kiarostami, so there's just a lot of through lines there, and I don't know. Sometimes it's hard, even as someone that loves watching films, it's sometimes hard to get locked into a foreign language film right away.
Yeah.
Just how distracted we all are at all times.
Right.
But this one grabbed me pretty early on, and I think you just become so kind of enthralled by the themes and about the complexities that it's hard to take your eyes off of. So it was a great experience for sure.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So Panahi, what do you know what his connection was with Kiarostami?
Um, his first, well, one of his first films, Panahi's first films, Crimson Gold,
Right.
was written by Kiarostami.
Oh, right.
And then Panahi was, I don't know which films, but Panahi was like AD on a couple films for Kiarostami, kind of like Kiarostami was like his mentor, honestly, in a lot of ways. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, and we should say, I mean, Panahi is, look, I mean, well, we were just joking about how our country is looking a lot more and more
yeah.
every day. Yeah, more and more despotic. But this guy risked
Yep.
more imprisonment. He's, hell, they may be in cars so much in this movie because it's easier to hide cameras. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly,
And he keeps going back to Iran too. Like he loves his country. He's openly outspoken against the Iranian government, and
yep,
he just keeps going back. Like a man with that much privilege too, who could very easily live somewhere else,
right.
to keep going back and to keep making these films. Like it's a level of bravery that in art that is, it's going to create like naturally going to create greatness. I feel like
Yeah,
you just don't. risk doing this type of stuff unless you have something that is important to you and something like really important to say. And that's often what I find with, obviously Kiarostami as well, but what's the Asghar Farhadi as well? Just his
Yeah.
movies, like they're just so powerful, and I think like making them in that environment has to breed some kind of unique creativity and bravery. It's incredible, honestly.
Yeah, and so, I think, and this is, I want to talk about plot, just give them a brief plot so we can dive into themes. But I think what's important to kind of note about what we're saying is that it would be very, we always talk about like Oscar bait and things like
Yeah,
that. And it would be very easy to just sort of like lionize this guy because his
yeah,
goals are laudable, right?
right.
But which is true. But when he makes an awesome thriller that
Mhm.
moves and is
Yeah,
propulsive, you don't have to know a thing about Iranian cinema. You don't have to
yeah,
know a thing about all of this stuff we're talking about, which I think is important context. You could just put this on, and yeah,
yeah.
you gotta turn your second screen off, which is something I'm infamous for struggling with because you got
Yeah.
to be watching the subtitles. But within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you're gonna be like, this thing freaking moves.
And there's so many unique, and again, we can get into it in like the technical stuff, but there's so many unique uses of the camera and uses of sound specifically in this movie that really make it uniquely accessible for a foreign language film. It's not a hard watch. It's not a tough hang. It's a
No.
very easy movie to watch.
Right. So yeah, so just towards that end, like this, I'll just give you. I wrote down like a little bit of a
Yeah,
summary of the plot, and if I miss anything, let me know. So,
yeah,
it starts as many as Iranian films do. It seemed to like with a family in a car. A
yeah,
man's driving down a road and gets into an accident, hits a dog. He's got his pregnant wife with him, his young daughter, his precocious young daughter in the back
yeah.
seat, and it kind of damages his car. And there's a moment that sort of hints at some violence there with the dog.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so well captured.
Hmm.
And then so he ends up he needs his car is kind of in disrepair. He needs to get it fixed. He ends up at this local mechanic who was a guy named Vahid, who was a former political prisoner. And as this man is coming in, he hears a distinctive squeaking sound,
Yeah,
which is particular to this man's or to a former man's prosthetic leg, a guy that
yeah,
they called Peg Leg,
yeah,
who was a torturer, essentially, right? Like he was
yeah.
torturing
That's what I got. Yeah,
underneath the Iranian regime. He had tortured this group of, I guess, what they were perceived as political dissidents. So,
yeah,
like, and so yeah, and we're off. And then he decides to kidnap him. And
yeah.
then things go crazy from there. Like that's kind of, I mean, did I miss
That's
anything? That's
it.
kind
No,
yeah.
he meets a bunch of different people on the way, like trying to verify the
Yes.
guy's identity. Because he's about to kill the guy, and the guy basically tells him, "I'm not who you think I am," and he has a moment
Right.
of doubt. He has a moment of doubt, so he goes and finds all these other people that were also prisoners of this same person,
Right.
um, and in attempts to verify the identity. So, and then he goes from scene to scene, kind of visiting different people, and
That's
ultimately,
right.
yeah,
So the film becomes a road picture
yeah,
almost in a
yeah.
sense, and hijinks ensue. Um, and so
Hijinks is one way, yeah, of putting it. Yeah, certainly hijinks, very serious and upsetting hijinks. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. That's right. This is a little darker than Midnight Run, but yeah,
yeah, a little
it's
bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
but yeah, so and I think that's what we mean. I think I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna get this Iranian guy in, and he'll be up for Oscars and stuff. It must be a 3 hour a
yeah,
tourist sort of stuffy film. It's like
yeah,
or it's this freaking shot out of a cannon propulsive thriller that hides all of the themes we're about to tease out
yeah,
in them, right? It doesn't sort of smack you over the face with them. They're just in there.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. What themes about this picture or, more broadly speaking, do you think about when you're like I'm locked into an Iranian picture. What are the touchstones? What typifies the genre? Like that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, well, I think the naturalism of it,
Yeah,
um,
for
first of all,
sure.
is like the thing that always hits me right away is like some of these like static shots from inside a car to the outside that you kind of feel like you're sitting inside a car watching a real thing happen.
Hmm.
Um, and that's not to say it's boring. It's the tension is so thick, and it's not, there's not a lot of there's no music in the movie as like a backing. It all feels very natural and real. And I think that's a very, I think it's a product of how you have to make films in Iran often.
Right.
Like you have to kind of do it undercover, so everything kind of has to look um, like you're almost like you're shooting it from surveillance cameras in some scenes.
Right.
Um, so that's like I think that's what I appreciate often about Iranian films in general is that they can stuff really heady and difficult themes inside something that feels very natural, and it doesn't feel like you're getting preached to, or um, it doesn't feel often like some American films can that are trying to like say something big and important.
Right.
It doesn't feel commercial, honestly, is how I think the soul of it. But this film in particular, I think it touches on the price of fighting these types of battles. Just like they never say explicitly what these people went through. They do give some like very upsetting examples of the kinds of torture that they experienced, but often they're kind of talking around it in a way
Right.
um, that is, it's just incredibly. It just feels incredibly real, and
Yeah.
I'm, I'm Panahi in particular. Is this film is obviously very political, but a lot of his films just feel, even if they're not political, they just feel super lived in and real, and everything feels earned. And yeah, I just, I love these movies. That I think I'm rambling a bit, but I think Iranian film in general is just like I say it all the time. It's just a gateway to like finding real humanity, and like
Yeah.
I just love Iranian film, and this one in particular.
Yeah, I think yeah, to go so like I wrote down it's for me like big tent uh and yeah, you definitely have a lot more expansive knowledge, but big tent for me what it's always been is like natural landscapes,
Mm-hmm.
naturalism and moral quandaries all kind of
Mm-hmm.
colliding. Like and
Hmm.
you used the words when we were talking about this like offline, like a morality play, and it kind of
Yeah,
is. I mean, and so you get these like gorgeous landscape shots, very arid, but like,
yeah,
really well captured. And then the surveillance thing is a great point because it's very difficult not to empathize.
yeah,
And I think this is not a close up discussion, but like
yeah, yeah.
if you have not watched Kiarostami's close up, like please just go do it. If you're bored, I then we apologize, but and I
You
it will
will be bored
challenge.
probably for you will
Yeah,
be bored at some stretches. Yeah,
it will challenge you. It challenged me, but I do think you'll be better for seeing it. And I mean, like to speak to the naturalism, it almost is like a documentary. I mean, like it's almost like blurring lines. Who did a hero that movie a couple years back? Like
that's
there's movies
Asghar Farhadi.
that's Farhadi, yeah, and for a separation is Farhadi,
Yep,
right?
yep.
He's the one I really like Farhadi stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
um, you get into like Iranian court systems, which is just so different than American court
Mm-hmm.
judicial systems. Like you sit down and you talk with families, and it's like I don't know, man. You're like trying to find real justice and asking like tougher questions instead
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like who pays the more expensive lawyer, and it's like um, gosh, I mean, I can't
yes,
help but think how we would have handled something like the Epstein case in Iran. Like the way they would have handled that would have just been completely different.
yeah.
So,
They really reckon with like the morality of
yeah,
the crime in that movie. Yeah, I mean, the movie I thought of a lot while watching this one is A Taste of Cherry, which is similar.
which I
It's
have
kind of
not
like,
seen.
yeah,
Yeah,
like it's like a very episodic film. This one kind of is episodic too.
it is. Yeah, you're
Um,
right.
Yeah, and it's dealing with in that film. It's about suicide, about the question of suicide, but it's kind of going from conversation to conversation, kind of reckoning with the moral quandary that this guy who's suicidal finds himself in.
Right.
And it's similar to this, where you're reckoning with the moral. Like, what do you do when you find the person that's responsible for ruining your life? Who's by all accounts an evil person who did awful things. Um,
Right.
what do you do in that situation? What is justified? What is right? Is there
Yeah.
is there a correct answer? Like,
Right.
and ultimately, I think the movie leaves you with, we don't have to get into the ending now, but the movie leaves you with no real answer. It lets you kind of say, here are all the different options.
Yeah.
Here are all the ways that you can handle this.
It
And
forces
I'm
you to
not going
reckon
to,
with the question.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not
I,
going to
I
tell you
mean,
what. Yeah,
and we should say, I mean, like the movie is kind of operating on two planes because there's this, the first moral gray is about, is this guy it or not? Like
right, right,
there's a lot of doubt. I mean, I think, there's a part of us that is, as a film watcher, we're aware we're watching a movie. So we're probably like, this guy probably is
yeah,
who
yeah.
he is. But like the film casts doubt all over the place with different
And it's
characters.
witnessing
And
humanity too to that character.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. And Ekbal's character is portrayed as uh like nebbish almost. Like when they're interacting, I mean, he's effete, he's weak,
yeah,
he's
right,
like
right.
he's humbled. And so, it's like it starts to creep into your head. Wow, if they give this guy what for and he's not the peg
Yeah,
leg guy, that sucks because
yeah.
the dude, I mean, remember, Panahi opens the film with him, his wife, and his kid. Like it's
Right,
so
right.
well done, man.
It forces you to
Yeah,
have empathy for this character
right.
before you even know what he's responsible for. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's like a kind of a curmudgeonly, like the daughter wants the music in the back in the opening scene, and he kind of turns
yeah,
it down. His wife's pregnant, like he's trying to
yeah,
get,
right.
and there's a scene with that, and so yeah, so I think that the first question is like, is he who he said it is or not? And then it's
Yeah,
like, if he is, then what do we do about that?
right,
Like, and
right.
that's kind of the questions that you're speaking to, which is like bigger questions like, does is mercy how we end violence? Like,
Yeah,
does mercy beget more mercy, or will oppressors always remain oppressors? And if you
mhm,
free them, will they simply keep like laugh it off and keep tormenting the people
yeah.
that they were tormenting in the first place? I don't know. So yeah,
I think it's
post-war
a lot
people.
of. I think it hits a lot. It hits a lot closer to home right now. With the things happening in this country, and
Yeah,
uh, it really does. Like what's the price? What's the price that we should have to be willing to pay to fight against tyranny and fascism and oligarchy, and what is the correct method of that fight? What does fighting look like? And
mm,
should all of us fight the same way? Should all of us feel responsible for fighting the same way? It's really deep moral questions. And I think of the final scene when they have this guy captured and he's up against a tree and they're kind of like telling him, we're going to kill you. And at one point he looks at them and says, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. I have a kid, a wife, a family.
right,
I'm just like you. And there's an element of me that, man, I've been thinking a lot about that lately, is that there's a lot of people that are supportive of just real evil in this country right now. And but I don't think they're evil.
right,
So like, it's a really complicated moral question, and
yeah,
man, I think packaging it this way and making it so entertaining and captivating, really captivating is the key part of it, because you have to have, really just holds you and forces you to pay attention. So
yeah. Yeah, and I think, yeah, I mean, the film doesn't come out and say this is post-war PTSD and
right, right,
these are the psychological scars of state violence. It is those things, but it
yeah,
doesn't, it's like how modern horror, like the worst of um elevated horror is like when you make everything about capital T trauma instead of
yeah,
just putting it on screen, right? So, yeah, man, yeah, so it's a, there's trauma in there. There's questions of vengeance and revenge. There's a lot of doubt as they're trying to confirm his identity. I'm trying to think. I'll probably put a little spoiler bumper ahead of what you just said because
Oh
that
yeah, please.
part, yeah, because, um, but I think now, yeah, let's do it. Let's talk, like, do you have anything else we want to share about kind of the ending? Because I do
Yeah,
think the this film is a triple until the ending is a home run, man. And I
yeah,
think that that scene for me was unreal. The female lead in that scene just blew me away, man.
yeah.
Um,
Miriam Afshari is her name, if I'm
yeah,
saying that
Is it-
correctly.
she's playing Shiva or Shiva, right?
Shiva, yeah, I think. So.
Because she is the voice of composure throughout the picture.
Mhm.
Whereas the guy you were really liked was what was his character's name?
Hamid.
Hamid, yeah. Who's like kind of a live wire, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he's like,
like,
we're gonna. I want to kill this guy. Yeah, we're gonna kill this
yeah,
guy.
yeah. But it's funny because he's almost like, hold me back, hold me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like, are you really gonna walk up and kill this
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
or are you just a blowhard? And Panahi kind of like smartly plays him like that. Like when he actually
Mhm.
has the chance, is this the guy that's really going to go through with it, or is he going to step away? Meanwhile, the Miriam character, the Shiva character, there's a part where she goes up to him on the tree and she just all of her composure just breaks
Yeah, yeah,
and it's like anguish and just like ferocity and anger. It's like I said, it's literally like definitional PTSD coming
yeah,
out, but and I was just blown away because it was like I want to kill you with my bare hands right now, but I'm too good a person to like, and
yeah.
that was just,
She does the same thing to him that he did to them, which was basically empty threats, but like
yeah,
that feel very real. Like while they were imprisoned, he often would torture them by saying, "I'm going to kill you. This is it," or putting a noose around their neck and pretending that he was going to kick a stool out from under them and not actually doing it.
hmm,
Like that kind of psychological torture. So she goes as far to say like, "You're about to be martyred. We're going to kill you." You know, like
yeah.
and sobbing, and the man is also sobbing, and yeah, I mean
Well,
it's extremely powerful.
yeah, he postures as if he's bold. I'm ready to die for the state, and he
Yep,
postures.
yep.
But once he sees how real what
Mm-hmm.
she's expressing is, he starts kind of breaking.
He becomes
So
like a sniveling coward. Yeah,
he does, yeah, yeah, and yeah. I mean, like he craps himself in the car. Like he's all along, he's not portrayed. He's portrayed as weak.
yeah,
Um, and I think losing the leg is like it's a cool like character
yeah,
thing about a guy who was supposed to be so powerful but really isn't. Um, Anything else you want to say about the ending? I guess the very
yeah,
final sequence.
yeah. The final sequence is powerful too, because they ultimately let him go. They just leave him tied up there with a knife and say, "Like you can cut yourself free," and they drive away and leave him.
Yeah,
And the next scene is the main character Vahid. He's back in his shop,
yeah,
and you're just looking at his back, and you hear the squeaking noise of the prosthetic leg. Walk up to him. It's only via sound. You don't see anything, and then
right,
stop for a second and walk
right.
away.
Yeah,
And so my interpretation of that was, like just a reminder of the power that this man has over these people still. Like, hey,
right,
you didn't kill me. I know where you live. I know where you are.
right.
Like, you need to live in fear of me.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but also, you could take it another way. Like, he doesn't exact any revenge or come after him. He just walks up to him and leaves. Like he's like, we're even, I guess. So yeah, it's a really powerful and interesting ending, and it kind of leaves you just being like, "Holy shit!" Like I think that
yeah,
was my reaction. Right, it was wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right.
really powerful, but like also like it's powerful, but not like too heavy. It's good. It's interesting and fun too.
Yeah, I mean, hell, like there's a chance that he is just hearing things. Like I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
I think that's unlikely, but it's like it will he for the rest of his life be looking over his shoulder to see if this guy's gonna come for him.
Right.
I took it like you. I listened, but because you can hear it getting louder and louder, and then I believe you can hear the squeak kind of receding, which would indicate that he had pulled away. But yeah, I mean, it could go a million ways. Like he could have been sort of pissing on the territory and saying, "I could come back for you whenever I want."
Yeah.
It could have been right. Maybe he has changed, and but that's what I love it because it sort of bangs home these like gray, the delectable, more like gray of ethics, which we've been
Right.
talking about, which is like, this could go anyway. They ultimately show this guy mercy, but I don't think they show him mercy
For not
because
for him, not for him.
it's for them.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah.
agree, man. And I think that's key. I think that's a really key, like, thematic thing is
Yeah.
that they didn't kill him because they're not killers, not because he
Yeah.
didn't deserve it if he really
Yeah.
was who he was. And
It's
by
something
the
that I
end,
find, yeah, it's something I find in a lot of Iranian cinema is just like a real profound love and empathy and compassion that's like found in these films, in a lot of the characters. Um, and I think it's so easy as Americans to just have an idea of what Iran must be like in our heads.
right.
And I think it makes it even more powerful when you see such like profound, profound. I keep saying humanity, but just like profound humanity in this setting. Yeah, it's amazing. I just love watching it.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. All right. Well, so let's say end of spoilers. So if you're back with us now, we're going to move on, talk about some other things.
I will probably spoil the film 8 more times, but Nick
Yeah,
will.
I know. I will try. I will try to handle it. So let's talk below the line quick. I mean,
Yeah,
do you any thoughts about the sound design, cinematography, production, things like that?
yeah. I mean, it's not like it's a sprawling, epic, beautifully shot thing, but I again, it's the reality and the naturalism that I it's a lot of static shots of
Yeah.
things happening with people coming in and out of frame, and I that's been a technique that I've responded well to. I think of a Ghost Story that
Oh
the
yeah. The Lowry
that's
film.
yeah, the Lowry film from a few years ago. But like I think the setting in Iran is so interesting because it's these huge cities, but like on the outskirts of these cities is nothing.
Right.
There's nothing there, so you're in the middle of the countryside for a lot of this film too. There's some really interesting
Yeah.
like long shots where, again, like you don't have there are a bunch of people talking, but some of the people are off camera and some of the people are on camera.
Hmm.
People are walking again in and out of frame. Um, and I don't know if that's a product of like artistic creativity or necessity. I really don't know,
Right.
but they
Right.
create really interesting scenes. So, and the sound design obviously is, it's not flashy, but I think the squeaking of that leg,
Yeah.
it's embedded in my mind now. It's such an interesting technique to use to kind of make the whole thing more memorable. So,
Yeah, the opening sequence with the dog has some pretty good sound stuff
oh
too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's my thoughts too. I wouldn't say this one would blow me away in terms of the sound design or any of the below the line stuff, but
yeah,
it's all just really solid. And
yeah,
necessity is the mother of invention. You're right, and that's probably, why they got what they got. A lot of handhelds and stuff like that.
yeah.
Pros, I mean, we haven't really said a bad word. So we've been
No,
talking about pros all along. You talked about the other male lead character's performance. I talked about the woman's performance, particularly in that like penultimate scene. That's just really
mhm.
good. This I just want to say this movie's hilarious at times.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's really freaking funny parts in this.
yeah.
That's why I was trying to say like if people are like there's no way this movie just goes down easy. Like I'm not kidding. It's genuinely there are parts that are really funny and
Yeah,
it's like I mean it's
this like
all
I mean, half the movie's like a sight gag with this woman in a wedding dress. You know,
yeah.
it's
That's right.
it's very funny. Like she's losing her mind because she was tortured by
Right.
this guy, and but she's
Right.
in her wedding dress getting her wedding photos taken. It's the and that um that image is very funny.
It is. And yeah, and I mean the Shiva's character is like the photographer for
Yeah,
this wedding, and that when he stumbles when Fahim like stumbles upon them. I think that yeah, and the crazy thing about her character is it's like it's at least hinted at, if it not explicit, that she was like basically raped or like
yeah,
sexually
or
abused.
threatened to be.
Yeah, or at least threatened. So like and she's clearly young, you know, so it's just yeah, it like I said, it's and then there's a scene where the live wire is going off and the cops are like there's a like a running sight gag
Oh,
about we take credit and they like have these credit machines where you can just
yeah,
tip people all over the place.
bribing them with credit
Yeah,
cards. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like, and then he helps this woman out who's like I said, and then it's like the nurses would like a tip, and like
yeah,
it's just hilarious. I'm like, this guy is it could be Peg Leg's family, and you're helping out. I mean, yeah, sight gag's a good word. It's like situational comedy, but it's actually genuinely funny in spots.
yeah,
So I would speak to that about the comedy, or excuse me, the like prose performances. It's really well written. Um,
yeah.
it's terse. Like it's not. The movie's like an hour 40, I think.
Mhm.
Like so, which is like doesn't overstay its welcome. Everything seems to be what it needs to be to get you to from A to B.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I mean, I can transition us into cons. There aren't
Yeah,
many.
let's do it.
Yeah, there aren't many cons. Like I think this is. I love films that are talky. This film is talky. Like it's a lot of
Yeah,
talking, and it is talking in Farsi, I believe.
yeah,
So like it moves and the ideas are interesting, but it is a lot of talking in different locations, and a lot of talking about like, hey, what's the right thing to do with this,
right,
political prisoner
right.
we have. So it's, you know, I think that would be maybe one of the downsides. In terms of, I love the way this movie looks. I love the way the movie
Yeah,
feels. I think a lot about Chloe Zhao films. I think
yeah,
she's a big Iranian film person as well. Chloe, not the Eternals, not the Eternals,
yeah,
all the other. Hamnet, another good one this year.
yeah. There you go.
But I think your mileage can vary if that's for you or not. Like the very static camera stuff, with people talking off screen can be a little bit confusing at times. I think if you're
Hmm.
not sure who's talking, you're not maybe locked in, you don't have subtitle, or you don't have like, you don't have like you're not paying attention to the subtitles. If you're not, that kind of stuff, it can be a
Right.
little confusing. But I don't have a lot of negative things to say. I think it's like an essential film, and it feels even more essential with kind of like where we're at right now. Sadly, and
Yeah.
Panahi just continues to be just one of the bravest and most interesting filmmakers that we have. So, yeah, not enough Oscar love, but
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is talky, but to your point, there are other there's a lot of Iranian films that are very talky, where it's
yeah,
like, no, 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 like you literally could just press play on like an ethics 101 class
yeah,
and watch these guys in a courtroom, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Whereas this one, at least they're moving and doing stuff and all that sort of thing. I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of a con. When I finished, I was like, this is not a 5-star movie. Like it just didn't feel like a 5-star movie, which to me indicates that there is some cons, but I don't,
yeah.
it's hard for me to put my fingers on
I mean, it's
exactly.
limited. It's not.
I think that's a good way to put it. Like
It's
this,
a
it's
small film.
yeah. The scope is like it's like episodic is a good way to put it,
Yeah,
and so you're not getting like the ceiling is only so high. I think is what
yeah,
I'm trying to say. Um, but I think considering and I mean and to be clear like he sets those parameters like it's
yeah.
not
Right,
like
right.
it's not you know what I mean it's not like the movie is reaching for something more and Panahi just doesn't have the
Yeah.
stuff to get it there. It's like no, like this is the story he wanted to tell. So um yeah. And I'm trying to remember like I think I listened to an interview like I don't did he write it himself or was it from
Oh, I can tell you, maybe. All cast and crew. I'm on the IMDb page. This is
Yeah,
good podcasting.
real, real time
We are
alerts.
professionals. Producer.
Um,
Why is it not higher on the thing? Scripting. Why do I see script supervisor but not
yeah,
writer? I think he must have. I
yeah,
think
I
he
think
writes both.
so.
Yeah, there. Panahi. He has some collaborators, like
Yeah.
three collaborators,
But
but
so
mostly.
it's an original story, you
Yeah.
know. But I do think that's a good way of putting it. Scope. So, all right, man. Well, are you ready to put a bow on this and conclude it, or you have any other
I'm ready.
lingering thoughts?
I have so much to say that has is on. No, I'm just kidding. I could. I mean, if we want to do another podcast about like the Coker trilogy or
Yeah, so that's one thing I definitely let's do our FOF scores and then I want to
yes.
ask you about like a kind of a starter kit for Iran.
Oh,
That's my
interesting. Okay.
last thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Off the dome. So
Yeah.
but yeah, what do you think, man? Where do you end up with your score for this one?
In the spirit of Furman film,
Yeah.
I am rating this a 4.176. It's a 4.176 out of 5. Uh, it's actually more.
uh
It's 6 repeating, actually,
yeah, it's six
forever.
with
Yeah.
the vinculum.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Um, excuse me. We only go to tenths in
Oh,
Furman on
so
film.
sorry
Okay.
about that.
Is that what you're going with? I was
No, I'm at like I have it at 4.5 on my
okay.
letterboxd. But I think the truth is probably somewhere between 4 and 4.5 for me.
Yeah.
Uh, I think the honestly, I think the hardest thing is when I think about a film like this, I think about other films in that same oeuvre. Like
Yeah.
I think of more of Kiarostami and some of Panahi's earlier films that I like
Right.
more. So,
More. Yeah.
but this one's great. I can do nothing but recommend it.
Yeah. I think I'm at like 4.3,
Yeah,
which is kind of what you're saying. Um, and I started it probably like 4.1, and it's just been kind of creeping. But I do
yeah,
think there's the limited nature of the scope, the fact that it is so thriller forward, I don't think it may not linger with me as much as some of the others, but
yeah.
it's really, really well done. And I do think it's definitely friendly fare. Like it's easy to get into. So yeah, so to wrap this up, man, and this, I didn't give you any prep for this, but
No.
a starter kit. Like if you're like, hey, go check out these 3, 5 films. If you're trying to get into international cinema, if you're trying to get into the films of Iran,
Yeah, I
what would
mean,
you say?
first of all, I am not the final word on this. There's a lot of good writing out there about Iranian film, and I would encourage a Google.
Yeah,
There's a
for
lot of
sure.
good writing out there. Anything by Kiarostami, I mean, that was my gateway into Iranian film. Um,
Hmm.
you already mentioned Close Up. I think I had that as my number one film of the '90s, right? When we did that
It,
list.
it was definitely three,
Yeah,
top
I think
two.
it's one of
Yeah.
my favorite. It's one of my favorite films ever made. But again, it's a little less accessible than this one. I think the one that's really accessible for me is Where's the Friend's House.
Yeah,
Uh,
that one I love. That's
it's
probably,
just beautiful and simple, and again, so real and so human, and just a big heart. And then there are two films that are kind of companion pieces to that, um, called Through the Olive Trees, and gosh, I can't remember the other one. Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad. I can't remember. But they make up
okay.
they make up the Coker trilogy.
Yeah.
They all take place in the same city, Coker, um, and they all kind of follow loosely the same plot. It gets very meta and weird, but it's also super cool. Those are the big ones, and then I think a separation for Hadi's film is just incredible. Uh,
So good.
Man, a
So
separation
good.
is so good. And then This Is Not a Film by Panahi, I think, is probably his most well known work outside
And
of this.
did he do No Bears too,
No
or?
Paris as well. I haven't seen that one, but yeah, No Paris.
I haven't either actually.
No.
So the other one you're talking about is called And Life Goes On,
And Life
also
Goes On,
known as
yes.
Life. It's also known as
Life and
Life
Nothing
and
More.
Nothing More. Yeah. I have not seen that. I have seen Where's the Friend's House. It is exceptional. Like I like that film better than this one, I think.
It's so they're very different, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that one is slower to me. I mean, it's not super slow, but it takes its
It's more
time.
deliberate. Yeah, it's deliberate.
Yeah, deliberate's a good word. So yeah, the Coker trilogy for sure. I mean, what about what's the Binoche film?
Oh, certified copy.
Yeah, is like that's because Kiarostami's one English language film, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit. There's a bunch of different languages in that one. I think French and Italian also.
Yeah,
In that movie, that movie's a little. That's the first Iranian film I ever saw, and it feels a little more European just because of the cast and the setting.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's an incredible film. I remember when I saw it, I wasn't even into movies, so I was like, "What is the deal with this movie? It's
yeah,
so weird."
right. It's like
It's
nested, kind of,
Yeah,
right?
it's super
Yeah,
meta. Yeah, it's super meta in the middle of it.
yeah,
That's one of the things I love about Kiarostami is that he's just like creatively very strange and makes some
yeah,
wild choices that are kind of not the same as some of the other. Although some of these other Iranian filmmakers do similar things. Yeah, you can't go wrong. I mean, look up an Iranian director and go to town. These movies are so interesting, and I think the backdrop of how like it's still relatively like their political system is still relatively new. It just came out in the 70s. So some of these filmmakers have been around for kind of like this changing of life in there. It just has made incredible artists, which I think adversity often does.
yeah,
Sadly, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. Kiarostami's very formally creative,
Yes,
sometimes.
yes.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like an Iranian Charlie Kaufman or something. Like he's just,
Yeah, I
he's
think a lot
messing.
about Charlie Kaufman
He's
actually.
just yeah, he's like messing with the bounds of films and
Yeah,
stuff.
totally.
Um, yeah, so there you go, guys. That is a little bonus, a little plus one invite there. We got
You did it.
you. We broke down this great film. It was just an accident, which you will hopefully see now. I think it's already on demand, um, and we gave you a little starter kit to go and do some more digging yourself. So if you guys find any more of that, or if you have thoughts about this film and our conclusions, we'd love to hear your comments. We'll interact with them. We'll bring them back up.
Yeah.
We'll have Scott back for another episode
I will
soon.
fight. I will fight with people in the comments. Talk shit in the comments. See what happens. See what happens.
My favorite comment it was a short which featured my face and chest in which the person said, "Iron your shirt." That was the comment.
That's so nice. Listen,
My shirt,
sometimes you need strangers on the internet to remind you of simple
yeah.
things
But
that
I
you
mean,
should
you
do.
can't even see my shirt. But yeah, I guess you meant another video and then clicked. I don't. Okay. So like literally, it's like a picture here.
Iron your shirt.
Iron my shirt.
Yeah,
Anyway, so you guys remember that life advice. It's on the same plane as all the moral quandary we've been
that's right.
discussing
Fight
today. So,
fascism and iron your shirts. You know what I mean?
yep.
That's it.
So, for Scott, please don't forget to like, subscribe,
Do it.
um, tell your friends, phone
Tell
a
your friends.
friend, do it
Right.
all. And for Scott, I'd just like to say that I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film.
Thank you for watching
Stay
Sipling on Cinema.
sibling on You killed my outro,
I
and I love
know.
it.
It's the best. I'm glad I did it. I have no regrets.
I have no regrets either. I'm gonna keep it in. I'm keeping it in just because it's better.
Oh,
All
man.
right, you guys. I'm Nick Furman. This is Furman on Film. Stay firm, my friends.
Do it. That was
Okay, wait. Let me
awesome.
stop.
That was fun.
That was good. That was a lot of fun. Stop recording.